So we'll need 2 kebab sticks or anything pointy. You can have any type of paintbrush, but obviously the narrower the better, because these sections are actually quite small. Cotton bud and some PVA glue, which I have in here, and with a little bit of water, because it's, as you can see, it's very what we call thixotropic. It's quite gooey. So literally just a tiny bit of water and you'll get a nice flow of the glue there. Okay. Now, I know I'm jumping ahead, but I just want to show you the end results before we'll start doing it, so you can make a decision. Can you see the sheen on this one? Can you see that? It's really difficult. Blowing there a bit. But all that one was clear nail varnish. And these were shoe polish. This was tea and paint. And this was gold paint, but the light's not very good in here today because I need the sun and the sun's not really glinting on it. Doing a circle is very, very tricky. So I would suggest you have a square or an angular cornered section because they're much easier. And the reason why I want to have a look on your object, because this is a shiny piece of wood. It's been pre-lacquered. But in order for the glue to stick the eggshell on, you'll need to score your substrate with your object. The wooden section, the wooden objects that you have are fine. That should be okay. You don't need to score it. Anything that's ceramic or has a sheen, you will need to score it. Or I would use very rough sandpaper. It's like tricky. And it's nice that you've got those designs, because what you can do is draw on your object freehand, or you can use tracing paper and then turn the tracing paper around. And here's a tip for you. So you'll put your tracing paper on your object, instead of holding it with your fingers and it will cause movement, put some tape around it up there. Now that shouldn't move, okay? This will keep its line. Eggshell is calcium carbonate. It's made from calcium carbonate crystals. It is inorganic. That's why it can stand the test of time. There are eggshell objects that are thousands of years old. Okay, but before you start, I must say that a raw eggshell is much nicer, because the thing is, you'll have large pieces, whereas if it's a hard-boiled egg, you're restricted to all these tiny little pieces. So the first thing you need to do is, you'll see on the eggshell, it has a membrane, which is this. See this little thing? It looks like a sail, right? Now you need to remove that, because this bit of this eggshell is organic and it will deteriorate. So what I'm doing is I'm just wetting the membrane with some water. You can do this under a running tap with some soapy water, but because it's organic, do please wash your hands afterwards. So I'm not too sure if the light, that's better, isn't it? So my tweezers, see how I'm pulling that off? This is the bit you need to discard. It's organic, as I said, and it will go bad. So I've got all of the membrane off. I'm going to leave that to dry. Now you might have noticed I've got quite a soft spongy surface here. if you get some kitchen towel and fold it into quarters, this will be ample. So I've got this eggshell here, and I'm going to break it. Now, what's nice about eggshell is that all these breaks, they marry each other. The lines are meant to be like that. So you can see on this one, I'm going to show you here. Can you see 1, 2, 3? This was one piece and I broke it, but they all live next door to each other, so to say, because the lines, if you put all those lines together, you can see that once upon a time that was one piece. And that's what's the beauty of eggshell. So I'm going to show you here how I'm going to do it. It's quite simple, but it's very, you can get lost in it. It's quite an enjoyable thing to do. So I've just dipped my paintbrush into some water, and now I put it on the glue, and it's fairly, you see that? It's okay, it's not too thin and it's not too thick. Now I'm going to move that out of the way. Yeah, that's all stuck. Before I put the glue on, I'm just going to use, or find rather, a piece of shell that fits nicely with the lines. Okay, I'm not really happy with that one because it's not behaving properly. Another thing you can see here, I have a blue egg and I have an ordinary brown egg. We adhere them, we stick them white side up. So let's see if these will fit better. Take my glasses off. Ooh. This is the fiddly bit. Yeah, of course it's not going to work. I quite like that one there, I think. Let's have a little play. And you see how I'm moving the shell around to see, I'm looking for that line where it looks really nice. Ah, I'm happy with that. Can you see? That looks really nice there because you've got a curvature there, you've got a curvature there, and you've got a straight area here. And it almost looks as though that would come from that shell, okay? So I'm going to move that aside for the moment. And I'm going to apply the glue. And it really doesn't matter how many layers of glue you put on. Now I'm going to move this into position. You can use your wooden stick to do this, and 2 hands. Now, can you see everything? What I'm going to do here, I'm going to put a little bit of pressure on, and see how that's broken? It looks as though those pieces belong together. That's lovely. Look at that. I like that. That's nice. Yeah. Now, you keep going like this all around your object. Now, as you can see on this object, there are 3 squares here. And sometimes when you snap the eggshell and you get a really nice piece, there we go, that bit there, once it's straightened, has given me that top right-hand corner angle, like here. You look on this one here that I've done earlier, see that's quite a straight edge, that top one. So they're my special corner pieces. But just take your time and look and see if it fits and if it's complementing the line next to it. Now I have a little void here and I really want to fill that. So I need to find a piece of eggshell that will sit well in that tiny area here. So I've just popped some glue on there. And now I'm going to look at the eggshell here and find one that will suit that space. I'm going to try this one. See, it doesn't look right that way round, but what we're going to do is move it. Sorry, but my hands are getting in the way. It's a very fiddly thing to do. So I'm just turning it round. It does take time, but the end results are pretty satisfying. There we go. I'm happy with that. This glue area here, it's still wet glue, but it will dry clear. So that was one, there we go. That needs to be glued in as well. Don't forget, when you have dipped your brush into the glue, have a little glass of water and rinse the brush out and wipe it on some kitchen towel because it will harden. There we go. So that's that bit. You know, towards the end of the workshop, we can make some paints from old tea bags and some mint and some beetroot. It's just utilizing what you've got at home. And I think because eggshell is a natural material to work with, it'd be nice to use something natural on top as well. But I mean, I must admit though, having said that, is that the clear nail varnish worked beautifully.
What happens if you leave the membrane on?
It won't, it will stick initially, but it will eventually come off. And also it will start, it's like a food item, so it will eventually decay. All right, so just take your time taking the membrane off. I hope you're going to enjoy this, and I hope it was what you expected it to be. Be patient with it. That's the most important thing. And then try and enjoy it, because I guarantee you're going to have something amazing at the end of it. So thank you all very much for attending today. And I hope you'll come back next week.